Hello, wonderful people. My name is Wilson Mutua, and this is Impact Initiative. Today, we are just encouraging one another, and the topic of the message today is where did your axe fall? Where did your axe fall? I know we know this story in the book of 2 Kings, chapter 6. I'll read from verse 1. 2 Kings, chapter 6, from verse 1. And one day the group of prophets came to Elisha and told him, these are like your members in the church, or they may also be like your juniors in the place of work. It could be a manager or a director in a company. And your juniors are just coming to initiate a certain project. And I want us to see how Elisha responded to this initiative that did not start from himself. It started with his juniors, the sons of prophets. As you see, this place where we meet with you is too small. So they're initiating a project of expanding their place of dwelling, because it gets to a point where your place of dwelling, or the spiritual place, or the environment in which you are, where you're doing ministry, not just a physical place, but the spiritual sphere, you feel that you want to expand it, and it's like you want to grow beyond your current capacity. And this is a good initiative coming from the juniors. But what we see here, Elisha did not oppose it. He actually accepted, and he said, let us go down to Jordan River, where there are plenty of logs there. We can build a new place for us to meet. Just issues of expansion. All right, this is what Elisha responded. He told them, go ahead. He was not opposite to this initiative that did not start from himself. Why? It is because it resonated well with his vision. That even when young junior people, or even members in the church, initiate a project, it should resonate with the vision of Elisha of the house. It should not conflict. And many times when the people below us, or the people that you are leading, whenever they initiate projects, sometimes the leaders there, they oppose simply because they are not the ones who initiated the idea. And in most cases, some of those initiatives will not come from yourself. They will come from the people down there. But as long as whatever initiatives they are proposing to the leadership, or to the top leadership, they resonate, they agree, they are within the context of the big picture. And even the people initiating the projects, the members of the church, or the juniors there in that organization, you should also ensure that whatever projects you're initiating within the framework of organization, they are not in conflict with the main objective of the organization. And this is what happens because Elisha consented to this initiative, because it was not in conflict with the general objective of Elisha and the ministry. And in verse 3, please come with us, someone suggested, meaning we want the partnership of Elisha's grace. Whenever you are taking this initiative, it is good to involve and to allow the participation of even the leadership. They may not be personally involved, but let them know what you are doing. Let them be informed. Communicate to them, inform them, report back to them. They may not be the ones implementing the initiative directly on the ground, but let them be aware, bring them in the know that something is happening down there. Don't do that thing in secret, in as much as you are the one who has initiated that particular wonderful project. Please come with us, someone suggested. I will, he said. Then Elisha consented to that. He agreed. So he went with them. When they arrived at Jordan, they began cutting down trees. In other words, they began to implement the initiative. They began to execute the idea. It was not just left at the idea level, or the level of a good idea, but they got to a place where they began to cut trees, to initiate. And it's good. Those good ideas, they should be taken to the next level, a place of implementation, to a place of execution, so that they're not just ideas in the mind, but they should be implemented in collaboration with the top leadership. As I've said, they may not be the ones implementing directly or cutting the trees, but let them know, put them in the know, let them know what is happening, report back to them about the progress, because along the way, you need their intervention. In verse 5, but as one of them was cutting a tree, his axe head fell into the river. This is a crisis that now has befallen one of the workers, and it is like affecting the whole team as they work together. And he said, "Oh, sir," he cried, "it was a borrowed axe." And this is where now Elisha is needed more, because it's a crisis that needs the intervention of Elisha. Assuming that these guys had not informed Elisha of their going down to cut timber or to cut logs or to cut trees down in Jordan, assuming that they had not informed their senior leader, he would have been caught unawares even during this particular time, and probably he would not have intervened in this manner. And so we need to involve the leadership, because when a crisis comes along our way, and that we may need, that may require the intervention, the involvement of the top leadership, it is important to have informed them even before going down to Jordan to cut trees. So, but as one of them was cutting the tree, his axe fell into the river. "Oh, sir," he cried, "it was a borrowed axe." Now, that word phrase, borrowed axe, brings out the issue of stewardship. This person is recognizing, this prophet is recognizing that this axe is borrowed. It is bringing out the issue of accountability, issues of stewardship. It is borrowed. The axe is borrowed because you don't own anything. So the axe represent the gifts that we have. The axe head represent the talent, the skills, the grace given to us, and we should be good stewards of the grace of God. And that's why when it fell into the water, he cried out, "It is borrowed," because he recognized the issue of stewardship. It doesn't belong to me, and I have to give an account how I used it. And if I don't put it into good use, God, one day it will be accounted. So the axe head represents skills, gifts, and talents that we shall all give account before the Lord. So we have borrowed, they are borrowed, and we shall give an account of how we use them, because they are borrowed. We are stewards. We don't know them. We don't own them. We may have gone to school, acquired that degree, that skill, and it is borrowed because God gave you the skill, the capability to study. Like he gave Daniel in Babylon skills to understand Babylonian literature, and God gave them that ability to understand the literature of Babylon. And so the spirit of excellence was upon these Hebrew boys in Babylon. And so we need to consider ourselves as stewards. We have borrowed whatever we have, those skills, capability, talents, favors, gifts, the grace and gifts of the Holy Spirit. These are borrowed. And anytime we lose them, we should be concerned, because we shall one day give an account before the Lord. Now, when in verse 6, where did it fall? And this is the head of our message. Where did it fall? This is the topic of our discussion. Where did it fall? And this is the question we need to ask ourselves. In the event that we lose our capability, our skills and talents, or we slow down, or we are not as efficient as we used to be, or we are not as active and vibrant in the things of God, we should be so concerned. And whenever Elisha dimension comes into place, the first thing he wants to know, where did it fall? Because we have to partner to activate that which we think it is not fully functional. It may be functional, but not to full capacity. And the purpose of Elisha is to activate it. It is to bring it, to cause it to float. Yeah. When he showed him the place, that is, we have to pinpoint. This was a place of departure. This was the place where I lost momentum. This is the place where I dropped the scent of pursuit, like a hunting dog. This is a point of digression. This was my point of departure. This is the crossroad. This is where I lost the flavor, the passion for God. And when you point at that particular place, then Elisha's grace comes in to activate that, and it will float again. And this is the good news. When you are so sincere and say, this is a place, this is a point of departure, this is where I lost that stuff, this is where my momentum slowed down, then we'll begin to see it float. So Elisha cut a stick and threw it into the water at that spot. He cut a stick and threw it into the water at that spot. The spot is the point of departure. That point of, you have pinpointed where the problem is. That point, the point of departure, the point where you lost your passion and your skills, or you slowed down, or you lost your momentum and your passion and your burden for the things of God. And that's why we need to involve an Elisha dimension, because Elisha represents the leadership that God has given us, who can help us to, once we pinpoint ourselves, because it is partnership. Once we tell them, I want to be helped in this area, then they can work together with you in collaboration, and the axe can float again. And where did it fall? You know where it fell from. You know the point at which you lost favor, you lost passion. The man of God asked where. He showed him the place. He pinpointed the place. Elisha cut a stick and threw it into the water at that spot. The axe head floated to the surface. This is going against the principle of flotation, because heavier items than water will definitely not float, because the axe is heavier than water. The density, it has more mass and weight than the water, and definitely it has to sink, and that's why it had sunk. But the principles here is that the grace of God is caused to go against the natural trends, the natural principles of life, and to cause certain things that are naturally impossible to begin to service again, to begin to manifest again. It is not over yet if you are ready to pinpoint the point of departure, to pinpoint the point where you departed from the cause and pursuit of the things of God. The Elisha anointing is present to cause it to happen. That Elisha's grace and the leadership that God has placed you, as long as they are accurate leadership, they are grace. And the Bible talks about the fivefold ministry: pastors, apostles, prophets, and teachers. They are equipped with grace and the capacity to activate that which you lost, and it can begin to service again. Or even if you have not lost it, to come back again, even to be activated to a higher level. The axe head floated to the surface. Grab it, Elisha said, and the man reached out to grab it. So it is your responsibility, once it is services, now to take it to the next level. You have a personal responsibility to grab that opportunity, to grab that grace, to grab it again once it is activated, and move it to the next level and not lose it again. So God bless you so much. This is Wilson Mutua, and this is Impact Initiative.